In today's economy, a company's most valuable assets, they aren't things you can see or touch. They're invisible. They're the ideas, the data, the secret formulas that really define their success. And trying to protect them, well, that's become the ultimate high-stakes game.
So, let me just ask you straight up. When you picture a huge company, what do you think is its most valuable asset? The shiny headquarters? The warehouses full of products? I want you to think bigger. Or maybe think smaller and a whole lot less tangible.
Because here's the wild reality. For the companies in the S&P 500, a massive 90% of their total value is tied up in intangible assets. Yeah, not things you can hold, but things that started as a thought.
That's right. It all comes down to their ideas, the secret sauce, the breakthrough code, those unique business plans. In the cybersecurity world, we have a name for these. We call them a company's crown jewels. And for good reason. They're the most precious things they own.
Now, the official term for these jewels is intellectual property, or IP. And I love the way the World Intellectual Property Organization puts it, creations of the mind. It's basically the special knowledge that gives one business its edge over everyone else. But, if something is that valuable, you can bet someone, somewhere, is trying to steal it.
So, to protect these assets, we've got to understand where the danger is even coming from. And the threats, they're everywhere. They're trying to break down the castle walls from the outside, but they're also rising up from within.
The danger really comes from two totally different directions. On one side, you've got your external actors. These are sophisticated hackers, spies, cybercriminals, all trying to break their way in. But then on the other side, you've got insider threats, the people who already have the keys to the kingdom. And the scale of these external attacks, it's just mind-boggling. Take the APT-41 campaign. This was a state-sponsored group that ran this years-long operation, and they siphoned off literally trillions of dollars in intellectual property. We're talking blueprints, formulas, the whole shebang, from about 30 different companies around the world.
But here's the thing that makes the insider threat so incredibly dangerous. These people don't need to hack their way through the firewall. They're already past the guards. They have authorized access, which they can then turn around and abuse.
Just think about how simple it can be. There was a famous case where a former Coca-Cola engineer stole trade secrets for bottle coatings, secrets worth over $100 million. So how'd she pull it off? It was simple. She just accessed files she worked with every single day, uploaded them to a personal cloud drive, and even just snapped photos of documents with her phone. No crazy, complex hacking necessary.
So, when one of these heists actually succeeds, what's the real damage? I mean, the cost isn't just a number on a balance sheet. The fallout can be absolutely catastrophic.
All right, let's start with the big, scary number. The estimated cost of IP theft to the US economy every year is as high as $600 billion. That's not just a problem for a few companies, it's a massive drain on the entire economy. But the damage goes so much deeper than money. All of a sudden, your competitive advantage is just gone. Your stock can plummet, your reputation gets tarnished, and in some cases, when we're talking about stolen defense tech or critical drug formulas, it becomes a real threat to national security.
Okay, so you're facing these devastating threats. How in the world do you fight back? Well, the answer is to stop thinking about a single padlock and start thinking about building a fortress, a digital fortress.
A really effective defense isn't just one thing. It's a layered strategy, and it combines three absolutely crucial elements. You need the tech, the firewalls, the encryption. You need the rules, clear policies about who gets to see what. And you need your people, a vigilant, educated workforce.
So building that fortress really comes down to a four-pillar plan. First, you have to know what you're even protecting. You have to identify and catalog your specific crown jewels. Is it source code, customer data? You can't protect what you haven't defined. Second, you lock it down. It's called the principle of need-to-know access. Basically, if an employee doesn't absolutely need a file for their job, they don't get access. Simple as that. Third, you make the data useless to thieves by encrypting it, and you're constantly monitoring for weird activity. And finally, you have to have an incident response plan that you've practiced, because you have to assume a breach will happen. When it does, preparation is everything.
Now, we can build the best technical fortress in the world, with all the bells and whistles, but it's all for nothing if we ignore the most important and often the most vulnerable element inside those walls, the people.
Which leads to a pretty uncomfortable question, doesn't it? What if your single biggest security risk isn't some hacker halfway across the world, but someone sitting in the next cubicle? Whether they mean to cause harm or they're just being careless, the threat is very, very real.
And this is exactly why protecting IP has got to be a team sport. It is not just IT's problem. HR is critical for vetting people when they join and properly offboarding them when they leave. Legal makes sure all the right confidentiality agreements are in place. And management, they have to lead from the top, really pushing a culture where security is just part of everyone's job.
And creating that culture means taking real, concrete steps. It means training your people so they can spot a phishing attack. It means having clear, simple rules for how to handle data. It's about building a workplace where people feel valued, loyal, and giving them a safe way to raise a flag if they see something that just doesn't feel right.
And all of this brings us to the final, and I think most important point. This isn't just about defending one company's bottom line. It's about protecting the very engine of progress itself.
Think about that for a second. Every time a blueprint gets stolen or a formula gets leaked, it's not just data that's lost. It's the incentive to create the next big thing. By protecting IP, we're making sure that all the hard work and genius that goes into invention actually pays off, and that just encourages more innovation down the road.
So I'll leave you with this. Whether you're running a startup out of your garage or you're part of a massive global company, your ideas are your future. They are your crown jewels. So the question you really have to ask yourself is, are they truly secure